There are three terms in geometry that we call the undefined terms, because to define them, you need to use words which we haven't defined yet in geometry. So we call them the building blocks. If we can agree on these definitions, then we can define all other words in geometry. The first one is point, and a point is just a location in space. So put a point or a dot to mark a point. Then we label it with a capital letter. I'm going to call this one B. So the name of my point is B. We name it with a capital letter. Now, the star itself is really a sphere. But when we're talking about this point in space, we're just talking about where it is, its location. We're so far away that we just want to talk about its location in space, or its point. That is the point. A line is a continuously straight arrangement of infinitely many points. So the horizon line is an example. To mark a line, we want to mark it with the arrows on the end. That shows the infinitely. It's going to go on forever in both directions. If we want to label it, we put 2 points on this line. And I'm going to call it H and V. This is a horizontal line. And then the name of my line would be line HV. And I would put this notation over the top, or this symbol, which says this is the collection of points that goes on forever in both directions. A plane has length and width, but not thickness. So if I want to talk about this surface as being a plane right here, I may want to talk about it as it extends forever into space. This direction, this direction, this direction, and this direction. So you're imagining that plane continuing, slicing through the space in all 4 directions. Of course, this looks like it's finite, but I want to consider that plane that continues in all directions. I would label it by putting a capital letter, a capital cursive letter, in the corner of this plane. And I'll use capital cursive R, just because I like R's. So the name of my plane is plane R, and as long as it's a capital cursive letter, I will know that I'm referring to a plane. Now my line, which I talked about earlier, will always have 2 capital letters that are not cursive. If you've got 3 capital letters, you might be referring to an angle, you might be referring to a triangle, so we only ever use 2 points when we talk about the line.